Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. It gets ambient lighting as well as 3D maps as well. So BMW has really gone ahead and put so many features in this car. It is thoroughly impressive. In fact, when I compare to the Mercedes E-Class, let me tell you that this car has a ton more features than the E-Class, and that really justifies its additional price of rupees 2 lakhs, because I mean, a car which costs so much should be loaded with a ton of features, and of course this BMW is. So right now let me just get behind. Now I am able to use the remote and show you a lot of things. So here we are going back. So all which is there in the front Idrive menu is also there here, so I can get into my vehicle. I can see a lot of data. I can get into Idrive settings, but most importantly what I like in this car, especially the Idrive system, is of course technology in action. Now technology in action, let me see how much power and torque is being used in real time. So I just need to get into the Idrive menu and show it to you right away. Now this is also a touch sensitive pad, and I can just move it like this, which is very slick. So right now let's get into the my vehicle settings. Once I get into technology in action, I need to turn on sport displays, and there it shows me exactly how much power and torque is being used in real time. That is extremely slick. There's something known as efficient dynamics as well, which will show me exactly how the power is being channeled to the rear wheels, and when you brake, how the battery is being charged as well, because that's how efficient dynamic works. So plenty of things in the iDrive settings as well, because this is a car which doesn't have a infotainment system. It has got a supercomputer here. That is how loaded it is. The air conditioning works really well on this car, and I can sleep in this car. It is so freaking comfortable. I mean, BMW has really blended the 5 Series driving dynamics and the 7 Series comfort in the 6 Series so well that honestly I don't think it makes any sense to buy the 5 or the 7. But hey, let's get driving to exactly find out if it is still as dynamic as the 5 Series. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the stop start system, getting into sport mode right away, sport standard, and of course getting into drive mode, getting into sport mode here, turning off the traction control too. Traction control has been turned off, and lowering the car as well. It's already lowered. Meanwhile, turning off the air conditioning off, and we are all set to go. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and launch control is active, and off we go. There's good amount of thrust from this motor. Yes, you can hear this motor a bit because it is vocal. It's not as smooth and refined as say the Mercedes E350d, but in terms of performance, it's absolutely sensational. It's breathtaking. The way this car accelerates is just something else. Now this is a 3-liter diesel engine. It's an inline 6-cylinder. It's not a V6, it's an inline 6, and performance is just so smooth. Turbo lag is very well contained. There's good amount of punch lower down, good amount of mid-range, and this car actually even has a top end. That's really great, because let me get into manual mode. Now I'm in manual mode. You can see the meter, the tachometer, well, it will go all the way, the needle, till 5000 rpm, actually more than 5000 rpm. It will not upshift unless and until I do so. That's the level of thrust on offer. In fact, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 6.1 seconds, which is half a second quicker than the E350d. That is the level of thrust on offer. All right, here you go. You can see the tacho. It is not upshifting. It is maintaining the revs above 5000 rpm. That is so sensational. Trust me, there are petrol cars which do not redline at 5000 rpm. They redline slightly lower than 5000 rpm. This diesel is an absolute hoot. This performance from this car is just sensational. In fact, it can put some sports cars to shame. That is the level of performance on offer, and you get it at higher speeds, and this car keeps pulling and pulling and pulling, and it pulls so strongly you don't even know what speed you're doing. That is the level of performance on offer from this motor. Yes, it could have been slightly more refined, because lower down, I mean, you can hear the diesel clatter, but once you get into the mid-range, it kind of sounds sporty in a very good way. Now of course there are multiple modes on offer. There are actually 7 modes on offer, and there's the comfort mode, which has 2 settings. There's the standard as well as the plus, and of course the other 2 settings, which happen to be Eco Pro and Sport, have individual settings each, standard and individual. That makes it 6. And there's adaptive. What adaptive does is it actually changes the various settings of the car according to the road conditions. So that is also very smart. Hard onto the gas, there's no lag. There's initial minor lag in terms of response, and then it absolutely flies. That's the level of performance from this BMW engine. It is such a sensational motor. The way it revs so fast and quick, you barely realize you're reaching the red line, and bang, the 8-speed gearbox is already shifted into another gear. That is how quick the gear shifts are. This is just a phenomenal powertrain option in this vehicle. Now of course these settings alter a lot of parameters. Now if we talk about Eco Pro, it is going to alter the air conditioning as well as the heating of the mirror, as well as the coasting function of the car in order to give you the best possible mileage. When you brake, it actually charges the alternator to conserve energy and thereby boost fuel economy. Meanwhile, in sport mode, when you get into the individual settings, there are 4 parameters which get altered. There's damping, because this car obviously gets air suspension, and because of the air suspension, it kind of wafts along at higher speeds. Now in comfort mode, the wafting is just too much. It feels a bit too soft for my liking, but in sport mode, it is just right. It is just right. The balance from this vehicle is just sensational. I know the sensational word has been used, I think 50,000 times already in this vlog, but trust me, this car is just something else in the way it rides, in the way it handles as well. And the other 3 settings which are altered in the sport mode is, of course, the engine, the transmission, as well as the steering. The steering feels a little light at lower speeds in comfort mode. In this particular mode, in sport mode, it weighs up brilliantly. The kind of feel and feedback it offers is, I mean, it is so freaking communicative. It doesn't tell you about the weight of this car. Now this has a longer wheelbase than the 5 Series, but yet you simply do not realize any of that. It just feels so light and nimble and agile and absolutely pinpoint accurate. You don't believe me? Check this out. Okay, that is how responsive the steering is. The steering offers great amount of response. Body roll is very well contained, and the brakes, they are also very sure-footed, extremely sure-footed brakes. Do a downshift, get hard onto the throttle, and bang, it absolutely picks up. This is a diesel engine which will put many petrol engines to shame. That is the level of performance on offer, and the ride comfort is also very great. Like I told you, a little bit of wafting, little bit of softness because of air suspension, of course, but overall the ride is brilliant. The handling is sensational as well. Body roll is so well contained. Body movement is just, I mean, it is epic, absolutely epic. The steering offers so much feel and feedback as well. The brakes are sure-footed as well, very strong brakes. This is a proper driver's car, a proper driver's car. However, when you compare it to the 530d, it is slightly softer, and that softness is because this car is aimed towards E-Class buyers, the E-Class buyers who are looking for something which is high on comfort. But I'll tell you where the 6 Series is one up on the E-Class. Now obviously it doesn't have as much space as the E-Class. The E-Class has just more space on offer, a better rear seat as well, because the rear seat can recline by 34 degrees on that vehicle, and you get these memory settings for all the seats and whatnot. But this car costs rupees 2 lakhs more than the E350d, and it offers just way more equipment. There is so much more equipment on offer in this particular vehicle. I mean, I'm lost for words that how has Mercedes not seen the equipment list of the 6 Series, because the 6 Series for 2 lakhs more gives you like 10 lakhs more worth of equipment, which is an absolute value for money proposition. Trust me on that. Launch control active, and a javelin throw of sorts. The gearbox is so freaking fast. I can manually take control of things using the steering mounted paddles, or obviously Triptronic function. I can also shift using this, yeah, like that. Of course, that gives you complete control of things. You know you are driving this car, you know you're piloting this vehicle, because everything feels right in your fingertips. Everything feels so okay, don't use the word sensational, 1,000 times already done that. Use some different words. I have to go back to the thesaurus and bring new words to the blog, because this car has sensational written all over it. Now the BMW 6 Series is available in 3 variants in 2 trims. Okay, there's the petrol, which happens to be the 630i. The 630i offers the luxury line trim, and that luxury line trim does miss out on a lot of features. Meanwhile, the 630d is also available in the luxury line trim, but this is the M Sport. The M Sport costs rupees 6 lakhs more than the 630d luxury line, and the cost of the 630i is 76 lakhs. The cost of the 630d luxury line is 83 lakhs, and the cost of this vehicle is 89 lakhs, which might seem like a lot of money, but you do get your money's worth because there's so much on offer. All right, a massive boot, good amount of space at the rear, and most importantly, a driver's car. So how do I actually sum up this vehicle? I mean, what exactly is the BMW 6 Series? Is it a 5 Series with more space? Is it a compromise for people who cannot afford the 7 Series? Or what exactly it is? Well, it is all of that and more, because this is the car you would buy if you want the level of space and comfort as the 7 Series. Obviously not as much as the 7, but nearby. Okay, you pay slightly more for slightly more comfort and luxury, so it's a very good compromise. But more than that, it is a more practical option to the 5 Series, because it just offers such great feel and feedback as well. The 6 Series is basically giving you the fun to drive nature of the 5 Series and the comfort of the E-Class. Now, it's not giving you the 100% of either, but it's at least giving you 87% of each, which makes it a bargain of the century for luxury car buyers. By the way, the front tire is obviously smaller with a slightly higher profile. The rear tire is bigger with a slightly lower profile, and this car on 19-inch rims with rear low profile, 45 at the front, 40 at the rear, offers extremely good ride quality when you compare it to the E-Class. The E-Class runs on 17-inch rims with higher 55 profile tires, but yet obviously the E-Class has a better ride quality, but this is absolutely phenomenal for the kind of tire size it's running on. Trust me, if this was running on higher profile tires, this would be gliding all over the freaking place. And launch control active yet again. How does the engine rev so freaking fast? I mean, it absolutely rushes to the red line and about 5000 rpm. Like really, this is a diesel engine. Now obviously I don't need to check it because I can hear the dieselness of the vehicle. It could have been slightly more refined compared to the E-Class. The E-Class's engine is way more refined. The E-Class has more linear power delivery, but the E-Class red lines are just 4000 rpm. And although the E-Class has an extra gear, I would say this gearbox is slightly better because it's just faster with shifts. And driving a German car with a lot of power and torque. Now this one produces 265 horsepower and 620 newton meters of torque. Alright, 620 newton meters of torque going purely to the rear wheels with traction control off. You might worry, but no, you don't have to, because there's so much grip on offer. I mean, not once has it screeched its tires, because the tires are just oversized on this vehicle. They are massive size tires on this BMW 6 Series, and everything seems excess in this car, because like from the price to obviously the amount of features, tire size, torque output, performance, redlining, revving, you name it, it has it. This, guys, is the BMW 6 Series GT Gran Turismo, and as the name suggests, it is a pure Gran Turismo. It can take 4 people and the luggage in utmost comfort and luxury, yet having an engine which is an absolute stonker, and performance which will put a smile on your face, handling which will make you grin ear to ear. This is an absolute sensational car. When I drove the 630i, I was missing something, but this diesel engine has covered everything. Obviously, the M Sport has more features than the luxury line, and that actually makes the money you have spent well worth it. By the way, although the ride is brilliant, sharp ridges and sharp edges or sharp bumps actually catch out this car pretty sharply, and that's a lot of sharp, but the reason is the low profile tires. So guys, this is my review of the BMW 6 Series GT, and absolutely, I have to use that word, I'm sorry, sensational car. And so many absolutes. What is wrong? What's wrong with your dictionary? Alright, let's just sum it up by saying that this is the best alternative for rupees 90 lakhs if you're looking for something which is driving fun as well as comfort. But if you want only comfort, then still the E-Class is difficult to beat. And if you like this video, you know what you have to do. Give it the thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.